So you should see that your first column would show you raising your minimum amount of money. You're going to see your minimum and target and optimum profits using that minimum amount of money. Raising your target amount of money, in the second column, you're going to see your minimum, target, optimum profits using your target amount of money. And in the third column, you're going to see your minimum, target, optimum profits using that largest amount of money. Okay? So basically, if you look upper left, that could be the smallest amount of money you can make using corporate credit. And if you look in the lower right, that's the biggest amount of money you could make using corporate credit. Your target amount of money using the average of hold time and the average ROI, that's going to be the number that appears right in the middle. It should be highlighted in yellow. It's going to be second row down and second column over. Right in the middle, that's going to be your target profit annual and target profit monthly. So look at that yellow number, and that's what you should be able to make extra using corporate credit. So I know that we went through quite a bit of numbers here, but I want to congratulate you first of all, especially if you don't like math. You just did an awesome job following my instructions. Now you know your numbers. You've actually taken the time to figure out how much money do you need, and you've calculated what range of profits could you make with that money. So now you're in a driver's seat. You can now make an intelligent decision about raising corporate credit. So before we move on to the next video, I want to give you a couple pointers in closing here. If you can't make at least double the amount of money that you're thinking about borrowing from a bank or using in a year, this isn't a year, then I don't think corporate credit necessarily would make the most sense for you. If you can only make 50% on the money in a whole year, say you can make 10% on the money every 2 months, so that's 60% in a year. When you look at the interest that you have to pay the bank to use their money and the fees to raise the money and access the money, it doesn't make sense. So I'd encourage you, you should be able to make at least a 100% profit margin on that money in a year to consider raising corporate credit. Ideally, I like to see that annualized. Just look at that medium number, your target amount of money and your target amount of profits. You should be able, as a target, to be able to at least make a 100% profit on that money. In terms of, so just look at your top number, MTO amount of money, and how much profit can you make with it. You should be able to make at least as much money in a year as you're going to borrow from the bank. Ideally, I think it's a lot better if you can make 150% on the money in a year or 200% on the money in a year. So to keep it very simple, for every $100,000 you borrow from the bank, I think you should be able to make at least an extra $150,000 profit, for ideally $200,000 a year profit or more. Again, that's annualized. That's that fourth category of numbers, not the fifth one. The fifth one is monthly. So that's my suggestion for you. If at this point you found out with your margins, the numbers aren't there, your target is 150,000, and the extra profit you should expect to make is only 100,000. But I'd encourage you consider two things. Number one, figure out how you can raise the prices and make more profit so that your margins are bigger. Or number two, look at another business. If you're already in business, one of the best books to read about pricing and how to expand your margins, price is very elastic. What people are willing to pay for something is very elastic as long as you build value for them. As an example, I'm building value for you right now about raising corporate credit by guiding you through all these numbers. So do the same thing for your clients. Add value to them and they'll pay you more for it. There's a wonderful book by Dan Kennedy called No BS Marketing to the Affluent. That's AFFLUENT. I encourage you very highly, read that book. There's another book he wrote called No BS Price Strategy that also talks about price elasticity. If you read those two books and your margins aren't where they need to be, I guarantee you, if you invest the $30 to buy those two books and read them, you're going to figure out how to make your margins big enough to make corporate credit make sense for you. If you've already found that you can make an extra 150 or 200% or 300% a year, on raising corporate credit, then corporate credit definitely makes sense for you, and congratulations. You already know that this money makes sense for you. Now you just need to go through the next two steps, which are make sure that you have someone in your company with a good credit rating, and you have a company at least 2 years old in good standing. And once you have those last two pieces, you're ready to raise money. So in the next video, I'm going to be showing you how to either optimize your own personal credit or bring someone that already has good credit into your company. And if you're thinking to yourself, how do I even know who I know that has good credit? Don't worry about it. I'm going to guide you step by step how to do that. So as a teaser, if you want, before the next video comes out, you can go to a website called creditchecktotal.com and create a free account there. It's a one-day trial for 7 days. Create an account there for your own personal credit, put in your name, your social security number, and look at your credit. Most people haven't looked at their credit in a while, and Credit Check Total is a great website to see all 3 bureaus, see what's on your credit. So if you want to do that and be ready for tomorrow's video, you can go ahead and create an account there, and you'll be ready to dive right in and go through tomorrow's training. So just to recap here from this video, you need to know your numbers. If you want to go into business and you're thinking, oh, I know if I get an extra 200 grand, I know I can make this business work. If you're not willing to invest the time to go through your numbers, which if you're watching this video right now, as long as you didn't fast forward, you have your use of money calculator filled out in front of you. You know your numbers now. So you need to know your numbers. That will give you a huge competitive advantage over most of the people in your industry who don't know their numbers and don't track their numbers. And at this point now, you already have a competitive advantage over the people that are in your marketplace because you've invested 25 minutes now in crunching your numbers, and now you are equipped to raise money, use that money intelligently, and know that you're raising money from a source that makes sense for you. The other alternative is if your margins, even after reading those 2 books, you're not sure how to raise it high enough, I'd encourage you to just start with your savings and start very small and do some testing and see if you can figure out what your cost is and what your net profit is after you've sold the product or the service. And you'll know your margins. Do some testing if you're not sure how to raise your margins after reading those 2 books by Dan Kennedy. The other alternative is maybe just raise $10,000 from a friend or family and get out there and just test your business model on a very small scale and figure out your margins from experience. That's the other alternative. So I thank you for your investment of your time. I trust that this has been eye-opening for you and empowering for you. I want to congratulate you. You've done an awesome job doing what most people in your industry will not do. So you have already shown that you're in the 2% of people in each industry that are serious. And the great thing is the people who are serious and committed to excellence are the ones who make the biggest profits. So I encourage you, as long as you watch these next 2 videos and go through the exercises there, you're going to be in the top 1% of people in your industry as long as you act on the game plan that you're putting together. If you just remind you again, in a couple days I'm going to show you how we can actually do a lot of the things for you that I'm going to take you through in the next couple of days, and basically make this a done-for-you service. So if you like the idea of raising $100,000, $200,000, $300,000 really quick without a lot of trial and error and wasted time like me, you may qualify to leverage my 10 years experience raising corporate credit to your advantage so that you don't have to waste a year, 2 years, 3 years seeing what works and what doesn't like I did. So get excited. You're going to find out very soon if you qualify for our Business Blast service, and if you do, I'm going to show you how to apply to be one of our clients. So even if you don't qualify, don't worry. You're going to be empowered to know how to raise corporate credit on your own at the end of this video series. So you're going to get a great benefit from finishing these last 2 videos, whether you qualify to be a client of ours or not. Until I speak to you again, I encourage you to leverage all you've got to get all that you want, and seek to add value to others, and may God bless you richly. Thank you.